Hi, everyone. Welcome to Libra, the number one corporate communications podcast in Kitchener. Thanks to every one of you that comes back to listen and learn. I'm your host, Taiwo Abdul Kadir. This episode is a conversation with Bethany Rowland, who is the Director of Corporate Communications and Marketing. Welcome here, Bethany.
Thanks for having me.
So to kick this off, would you mind telling us, I know that you are a twin mom, so would you mind sharing with us what it's like being a working mom and balancing that with the home front?
So yeah, I have a boy and a girl, and they're twins, and they're 12 years old now. I think that as a working parent, any working parent, has challenges, trying to find a work-life balance and figure out how to balance work and career and kids as well. So certainly that was a big challenge for me when my kids were little. Having twin toddlers in particular was very challenging, especially as I grew in my career and the requirements for me to work beyond regular work hours increased a little bit. Now that my kids are 12, they're a little more self-sufficient, which is great because my role at this point in my career is pretty demanding.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So this brings us to the next question. Could you tell us what your morning routine is like?
Sure. Like I said earlier, my kids are a little bit older and self-sufficient, so I'm not, running around trying to pack their lunches and make them breakfast. They can do that stuff on their own. But generally, I make sure they get out the door and get on the bus. I walk my dog, and then I get ready myself and usually drive into City Hall where I work. And occasionally I work from home, which makes for a little bit of a slower morning routine, which is nice sometimes.
Excellent. Thank you for that as well. So what would you say a typical misconception about corporate communications is?
I would say that people often think that corporate communications is just, press releases and maybe internal memos, but it depending on your role, it can be so much more than that. And I think it can really be a creative career. So everything from writing to advertising and marketing to events planning can be part of communications. And those are all things that, I do in my role or my team does in our roles. And I think that, corporate communications, depending on the organization or the company you work for, it can be very different, and often every day is different. Certainly in my role in municipal government, every day is different. And I think that that's something I appreciate about it, and something that people aren't necessarily aware of when they're entering the field.
Right. So what is that underrated tool indispensable for you to do your job as a professional in corporate communications and marketing?
So underrated skills, I would say that a person's ability to manage relationships is the most underrated skill for a communicator. Really, most careers, I think that applies, but for communicators in particular, your ability to manage relationships will determine 80% of the success of how you're successful in your role. And then all your tactical skills are about 20%. So I think definitely relationship management is an important piece.
Okay, thank you. So so this will be the final question. What's the piece of advice you would provide to someone just beginning their career in corporate communications?
So I would say that anyone starting out should think about what they're passionate about. And you can work in corporate communications, PR, marketing, in just about any field. But you should think about what you're passionate about and what fulfills you. So, for example, I've worked in the public sector in municipal and regional government for most of my career. And I find that really fulfilling because at the end of the day, I'm not just working to make a company money. I'm not just working for the bottom line. I'm actually working to make the community that I love a better place and help citizens connect with programs and services and make the city better. So I think that everyone needs to find what they love and the field they love, and go from there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As you've heard it from Bethany, managing relationships is important for communications, and you have to have passion in everything that you do. Thank you guys for listening. You can please follow the channel on YouTube at Libra Communications. Thank you.